Leaving Namtabung this morning in a total glass out. There's just a tiny little bit of breeze, just starting to pick up, maybe 5 knots, so sort of stuck with motoring at the moment. And yeah, just motoring out of this little bay here, absolutely tranquil this morning, gorgeous. Guys out fishing, I reckon they might have some luck. It's quite deep water here. Once you get a little way offshore, you don't have to go very far, and you get into the hundreds of meters of depth. Where we anchored last night, we were in 20 meters and literally on the reef. So yeah, very, very close. This is as close as we could get, still be safe and still get a depth that I could anchor in. But how beautiful is this? It's nice to wake up to life in Indonesia when it's calm like this. We're headed west. I don't know exactly what our destination's going to be. We're just going to go as far as we can. And one of the problems is, and we proved it last night or yesterday afternoon when we arrived here, there's fishing nets everywhere through the approach to the township there at Latalola. And there was only one clear space where we just happened to pick as an anchorage, and once I anchored, I got the binos out and had a bit of a look around, and there was fishing nets everywhere. We wouldn't have hit them because it was daytime when we arrived, but had we arrived at night time, we could very easily have hit them all. They ended up in all big tangle and a mess. So what it's shown is, and it says it in all the guidebooks that we've read, you know, anchoring at night, entering a harbour at night is not a good idea. So what that means is we've got about 85 to 90 nautical miles to go to the next potential anchorage, and unlikely to make it in daylight, especially now that I'm having to motor this morning. So that means we'll probably have to bypass that anchorage and do another 60 miles thereabouts during the night to get to the next potential anchorage. And if we're going to do that, we might as well go through that daytime as well, so probably another 14 miles. So we might do 200 miles before we get to a place where we think we'll arrive in daylight. But that's okay, because our intention is to head west and move. So, you know, as long as I can find a little bit of wind, making those miles is probably a good thing. And right now the sea is absolutely flat calm, so yeah, it'll make for an interesting trip. So we don't know how far we're going or where we're going. We'll just make it up as we go along, I guess. Yeah, that's the mission this morning. Make miles. Tan's still asleep. She's not a morning person. That's okay. And look, there's nothing she needs to do, so there's no reason she can't stay in bed. Woke up this morning with a heap of these little guys on the boat. Don't know what they are. They're not cockroaches. Kind of local bug, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, there's the issues with biohazards and so on, moving your boat to and from one nation to another. They pay attention to this stuff, so unfortunately these guys have got to go. I'm going to have to scare them off the boat or something. Luckily they're all outside, not inside. So we're on our way out of the bay there at Namtabung, and to give you some idea where we're headed, where we think we're headed. Try again. It does that sometimes. So our next potential stop is here at Palau Masila, but it's very, very deep, and we probably wouldn't get there until you know, right on dark, unless we get a sudden fill in of wind, and I don't expect that. The next possibility is up here. I don't remember the name of the place, just on that west coast there of Palau Besar. The other potential is there's a little anchorage there on the west coast of that small island there, but again, both of those would be arriving in the dark late at night, and we've already learned that that maybe ain't a great idea. The next potential is to continue on for 24 hours and end up here at Lilang, and get us there sometime in the morning. But if we're going to do that, we might as well add one more day's run to it and end up around here somewhere, which would be good to get all of that out of the way. that 36 hours or something like that, 24 to 36 hours. But I would like to have some wind to help us, because I don't like motoring all that way. Anyway, that's the kind of vague plan at the moment. See how. Looks like a thunderstorm cell brewing behind us. Still a long way away, I reckon. We're in absolute glass out here, so I wouldn't mind a little bit of wind if we could get something on the front of it. Who knows whether it'll head our way or not. There's another one, well, at least a cloudy patch, not so much a thunderstorm cell, but there might be some thunderstorm in that. But that one's definitely rising, going up. So probably anvil at some point and become a thunderstorm. I filled up the head sail, I popped it out for maybe 10 minutes. Thought we might get a tiny bit of wind. We had a couple of knots, but there's just nothing happening out here. It's very, very calm. I think I just have to resign myself to the fact that we're going to be motoring for the next, I don't know, 18 hours or something like that. I just don't trust mechanical gear. The only time an engine's ever failed me is when I needed it. That's because that's when I've turned it on. So right now I need that engine to make way. That's the only time it's ever likely to fail me, when I need it. Sails, on the other hand, have been far more reliable for me over the years. I'm a lot happier when I'm under sail. I feel like the boat's just in an element, you know. She was designed to be a sailboat, not a motorboat. But it's just one of those things. I just stress and worry about stuff constantly. Any counsellors out there that can help me deal with that, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I just need to believe in myself a bit more. I know I've got the experience, I know I've got the miles, so I just need to spend a bit more time with myself, I think. But anyway, it'd be nice to get a little bit of wind on the front of that thunderstorm. Maybe, I don't mind if it's 30 knots, I'm okay with that. I mind if it's 60. But a little bit of rain, a little bit of cloud, cool things down a little bit. And a few miles, 3 miles. At faster than 5 knots too. I like, you know, when the boat's doing 7s and 8s. Ah, it's gonna be a long day out here and a long night. Well, those two cells merged and are now one huge one, covering about 150 degrees of our horizon, I guess. Just starting to feel a little bit of wind on the front of it. So you can see this guy here is just filled in all the way across. That's where the first one ended. Now the second one there, and they've just joined together now. And you can see there we're just getting a very light breeze, so I've got the headsail out. But we can reef that and run downwind if we need to, if this packs a punch in front of it. I don't think it's going to pack a big punch though. It's fairly slow moving and fairly spread out. So, famous last words. I guess we'll find out when we finally found a breeze on the edge of these supercells. Right on the edge of it. We didn't catch the blitz of it. We just picked up about 10 to 15, well, probably 15 knots on a reach. So it's allowed me to get the sails up finally and make some ground. Making about 7 knots at the moment, which is really nice. Downside is, I don't think it's going to stay with us very long. I reckon I'll be lucky to get half an hour sailing out of it. But I guess any free mile is a free mile, so we've turned off the engine and we'll take best advantage of this while we can. And if it quits, turn the engine back on, I guess. Just starting to get some touches of rain now out of the edge of that. Oh well, cool things off a bit anyway. It's been pretty hot today. And as we are well offshore, probably 35 miles at the moment, we've thrown the harnesses on just in case. Unfortunately, Tan doesn't really know how to sail the boat, so if something happens to me, she's got a real problem. So I've got to make sure I'm always harnessed up if I think conditions are even a little bit doubtful. So harnesses are on. All I've got to do now is clip on. Hey, there it is. We're making over 7, nearly 8 knots Nearly 8 knots at the moment. Nearly 8 knots at the moment, so we're having a really nice little run. Take advantage of it. And then we're just relaxing, watching the world go by. The wind has dropped out, as predicted. So as soon as that rain band passed in front of us, the wind just dropped right out. So we're making probably 3 knots now. But at least we've got a little bit of wind to make some ground, so while we've got that, I'll use it. But I do expect this wind to drop right out, be back on the motor again soon enough. I guess we've just got to get used to this, you know, Indonesian low latitude sailing, I guess. New supercell that's formed on our port side here. Covers a large area. And we're just getting the edges of that now, which is again giving us a bit of wind and allow us to get a little bit of sail in. Yeah. When you get into deep water, we're in well over 1,000 metres of water here. It takes on this incredible clarity because there's no sediment floating in it. Beautiful, beautiful colour. Late afternoon, we're just approaching and about to pass the island of Nura. Island of Palau Masela. Nura. Not quite sure whether it's Nura or Palau Masala. But anyway, we're just at Palau Masala, I'm sorry. As we've come around the back of Palau Masila, sort of right on late afternoon, it's approaching sunset. The island is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. Oh, beautiful white sandy beaches. It's almost like Papua New Guinea. Anyway, we do see a jetty there, and looking at the Google Earth that luckily I had cached on my phone, I can see there's a bit of a patch right near that jetty, which might be A, shallow enough, and B, be clear of reef, which will give us an anchorage for tonight. So we're going to go and check it out. It's very late, we'll only get one shot at it. If I can't get it, then we're going to set the sail again and head off. We'll sail through the night. But it would be nice to have a good night's sleep. You know, I do prefer day sailing rather than the overnight stuff. But you can see here Palau Masela. Just stunning little, gorgeous little tropical island. Beautiful. And there's a village down sort of ahead of us there with a jetty. So because the jetty's there, using Google Earth, I can get a really good reference of where we are on the Earth's surface and see where the reefs are. So I should be able to sneak in near that jetty, drop the pick and be on sand, and hopefully not too deep and not too shallow, because we're in 190 meters here, and probably 400 or 500 meters to our port side it's zero. So it shelves up very, very quickly here. So we're going to come out of very deep water onto a sand shelf and then onto a reef. So we kind of got to find it. A little bit of wiggle, but because I've got that jetty as a reference, I feel confident that I can pull it off. If not, we'll just bear away, set the sails again and do a 24-hour sail. But happy wife, happy life. Happy wife would like to stop. So that's what we're going to try and do. And look, to be honest, it suits me too. Daylight, we've anchored. I dropped a pick in 16 meters of water and fell straight back into 35 meters of water. We're pretty much kissing the shore here. Kids on the jetty there. Still letting the anchor settle in, but I wanted to get a shot before it got dark. This is about as beautiful as it gets. This is stunning. This part's about cruising, is the surprises you get along the way. So here we are, we've stopped in at Palau Besar. Just, you know, because we were passing by, the beach looked beautiful, we thought we'd make our way down to the township. We got here anchored off the jetty. It's absolutely stunning. This place, And we would never have, you know, it wasn't on our potential list of stops. It was just one of those things that we thought we'd give it a crack, seeing as we could maybe have a good night's sleep instead of a night at sea.
Oh yes, sure.
And this is good. So I just had a wonderful conversation with the harbour master here at Latalola Besar, where we are. He called us on the radio. He speaks zero English. And of course I speak zero Bahasa Indonesia. So, you know, I could pick up a few words, clearance, stuff like that. So using our phones, we managed to tell him we had cleared in at Salmlaki and that we were heading to Lombok and that we were leaving tomorrow. And he gave us permission to stay for the night. So, yeah. You know, this is part of the joy of traveling in places where, you know, it is difficult to get to. It's remote. I don't know the last time they saw a yacht here. It's certainly not an anchorage that I've ever seen on a cruising guide. And no one speaks English, and the, you know, the officialdom in Indonesia is just insane. So everybody's got to stick their nose into your business, and you know. Anyway, they were very kind, very nice, good experience. Very happy, and we'll be kind of sad to leave tomorrow, actually. It's be a lovely little place to check out, but anyway, too late. Anyway, we're here for tonight.